Hey YouTube, it's Mark.
And Rocky.
And we are
This Cruise Life.
Excited today to talk to you about a ship that we've shared with you before, the Carnival Luminosa, one of the newest in the fleet. Well, one of the newest in the Carnival fleet.
Yeah.
She comes from sister brand Costa, and Carnival has done a whole bunch of retrofits.
They did it in 30 days.
What we are going to do is we've done the research for you. We're going to give you a deck by deck overview of what's changed between the two ships. Where are we starting?
Let's start at the top, deck 12. Not a lot changed. It's still a sun deck.
Still a sun deck, observation deck.
Yep. The only thing that we noticed is that it looks like it just surrounds the funnel or smokestack, whatever you want to call it. And that's it, that Carnival shows on the deck plan.
And some of the Costa ships' deck plans show a little bit bigger of a space, but pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, not much there.
Deck 11, however.
So starting with the back of the ship, we've got the sports court or sports area. We saw two different names for it on the Costa deck plans. And then with Carnival,
it's just going to be your sports court, your basketball. It looks like both deck plans just have basketball courts in there.
Yeah, not much change there. Going forward from there, you encounter the jogging track and
roller skating track.
Roller skating track. How crazy is
Costa, we love you. How cool is that?
Yeah. Now, the one thing to be aware of is the roller skating does cost a little extra money.
It's true. And Costa also includes in that space some, on both port and starboard, some yoga.
Yeah, yoga space.
Yoga spaces.
Cool.
Carnival, just the jogging track.
Just the jogging track. You don't get to do your roller skating. You don't get to do yoga.
Yep.
So forward on deck 11, on the port side, you have the Squawk Pool. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
It's their kids pool. Squawk in Costa is their kids club, ages 3 to 11, and so the Squawk Pool. So on Carnival,
yeah, it's just called an outdoor playground.
We assume, we're making some assumptions here because it sits right above Club 02, Carnival's ages 2 to 11 group, that it's related, but
who knows? They may not have even changed anything. It could be the exact same.
It could. It absolutely could. And let's go back to the ship on deck 10. There are quite a few changes back here.
There are. So at the back end of the ship on deck 10, on the right or starboard side, is where Costa had listed the virtual golf game. Pretty cool. Practice your swing.
But on Carnival, it is where Club 02 now sits.
It's a very interesting location.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Their kids clubs are forward and aft, if you think about it.
So on the port side of deck 10, Costa had the Grand Prix racing simulator game. Sounds pretty cool to me.
And a bar.
And they had a bar.
Well, two names.
It did. From one of the deck plans that we saw from Costa, it was called the Grand Prix Racing Simulator Bar. And then on another deck plan, it was called the Scuderia Costa Bar.
He speaks Italian better than I do. Carnival, however, scrapped them both. It is now just blank deck space. But
they did add the sunset bar at the very aft of deck 10.
Yeah, so you didn't lose the opportunity to have a drink at this
Which I love is right by Club 02. There's nothing else to do, but you can get a drink after you drop the kiddos off.
Sounds reasonable to me. So moving forward then on deck 10.
Yep, on the starboard side is the putting green.
Which Carnival also listed as a putting green.
Yep.
So is that mini golf or is that going to be a new activity for Carnival Cruise Lines?
Hey, there you go.
Kind of cool.
I guess we'll see. And then moving forward from there, you have Club Luminosa?
Oh,
what was that?
It was an extra charge restaurant that served up a, quote, variety of unusual food combinations using state-of-the-art cooking techniques such as liquid nitrogen, quote.
And now it is a familiar place known as Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse.
So when you exit the steakhouse and your bellies are full, you're going to see on the Costa plans the Dorado balcony. It's that open space that looks down in Toledo. Carnival keeps that open space, but at the front of that
is Carnival Seaside Theater, a place to watch movies under the stars or under the domed roof if it's closed at night from doing an Alaska sailing. So then forward of that is the Squawk Club, which was the club for kids aged 3 to 11. Very similar to what Carnival has in their...
Which is their Camp Ocean.
Camp Ocean, right.
Camp Ocean has the 3 different groups of kids, from penguins to stingrays to sharks, but Carnival's programs are open to 2 to 11.
Right, so just a year earlier.
And keep in mind, this is the space directly below what was the Squawk Pool on Costa and now is the outdoor playground.
Right.
So forward, adjacent to the Squawk Club, was the Teens Club, or the Teen Zone, that Carnival now just lists as a blank open space.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on there. So then the only space that was left on the forward of deck 10 was the spa.
The Samsara
Samsara Spa, as Costa refers to it. With Carnival, it is the Cloud9 Spa.
So that's deck 10. Let's jump down to deck 9. Let's do this quick for you.
Yep.
At the aft of deck 9, you've got the Dolphin. On Costa, you had the Dolphin area, pool, and bar.
Yep.
With hot tubs.
Yep. And consistent with the other Spirit class ships, we now have Serenity at the back of the ship on deck 9.
Hot tubs, and bar.
And the bar, yes. Serenity bar, don't forget.
What's really unique about the Carnival Luminosa is where the pizzeria or deli usually is in that aft space, that aft restaurant space.
We're excited.
Is old-fashioned barbecue.
Where did that come from?
So strange. It's not even the new, we've talked about this in a previous video, it's not the new Guy's Pig and Anchor brand, it's the old-fashioned
barbecue
brand.
Yeah.
And so that's usually where the pizza or the deli is. We'll talk about where that is on this ship, don't worry.
Yep.
So then what's where Seafood Shack, or what's on the Starboard restaurant, what's there?
Restrooms.
That's where the restrooms are.
Where the
aft of
restrooms
the
are.
ship. Interesting. So then we move inside.
Yep. And that's where we come to the Andromeda Buffet. Sounds like a great name. The buffet line was a little bit different with Costa. They ran it from aft to forward as opposed to port to starboard. So a little bit strange.
On the newer ships, how they've got those cool pods.
Yeah, those pods are great. So a little bit different. We'll be curious to see what the seating arrangement is like under this design style.
Absolutely.
But it's now called the Lido Marketplace.
So then walking forward of the marketplace, on the Costa ship, you had just one large item listed as the pizzeria.
Right.
Whereas on Carnival...
On Carnival, they actually listed two names. We're not sure how they're laying it out, but it's going to be Pizzeria del Capitano and the deli.
The Carnival Deli, yep.
Yeah.
And then finally, you walk outside from Lido and you're greeted by, on both sides of the Carnival deck plan, the grill.
The grill.
Which we haven't seen that either in a while. On Costa...
Blank space. We don't know what it was.
Blank space. So did you go hungry? Not sure. And then as you continue to make your way forward on the ship, you've got the Lido Pool.
Correct. But before you get to the Lido Pool...
What did I miss?
You got the Red Frog Rum Bar.
That's right. That's right. On the Costa deck plan, I forgot because it doesn't list it as a bar there.
Nothing.
It's
another blank space.
It's a bar. I'm certain it's a bar because it's laid out like it.
Yeah.
But it's just blank. It didn't have a name. And on Carnival, it's the Red Frog Rum Bar.
Right.
And then the pool.
So the pool area was called the Dorado Pools, which kind of goes along with the Dorado Balcony.
And now it's just the Lido Pool.
Now it's the Lido, which goes along with the Lido Marketplace.
Yep. So walking in from the Lido Pool at the front of the ship, on Costa, it was the first floor of their spa, the Samsara Spa. On Carnival, it is the Cloud9 Spa. But inside both of those...
Yeah. Costa put in the Venus Beauty Salon, whereas Carnival just has the beauty salon and barber.
Yep, absolutely. So that's deck 9. Let's jump on back to aft on deck 8.
Great, let's go quick. Deck 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4 are all staterooms. No changes on any of those decks for the staterooms. There are some oddly placed staterooms on the interior. Not sure what the planning was there. It's probably around piping and stuff.
7256, 6203, 5171. Just really odd. I just love, I mean, you know this.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily. Yeah. I love deck plans. And I love just finding weird oddities and quirks on the deck plans. So everything's the same from 8 to 4.
Yep.
Let's jump on down to 3 aft.
Let's get down there. Yep. So we're in the upper deck of the main dining room. On Costa, it was called the Taurus Dining Room.
And on Carnival, they've just renamed it to the Vela.
V-E-L-A. Not really sure what the naming is.
So when you leave the main dining room after a lovely dinner or brunch, on Costa, you see the Virgo Bar and Virgo Lounge.
Right, which has been replaced by fleet favorite, Alchemy.
Yes, and across from Alchemy is going to be on Costa the Altair Disco.
Yep, Altair Dance Club.
I'm really kind of bummed they didn't just keep the disco. John Heald has even mentioned that in one of his videos. He's like, I don't know why they didn't just keep disco. Yeah. That's fine.
So moving forward is one of our favorite spaces on a ship, The art gallery.
Yes, but not on Carnival. On Carnival, they've replaced it with the Carnival store. Interesting location for that.
It is.
That shop, versus, separate from the other shops on that ship.
Right. So forward from that space and adjacent is the Costa Chapel.
Oh, those spaces on Joe Farkas. If you're watching this, cool. Those spaces are just absolutely beautiful.
They are.
On the Carnival Luminosa, you are not going to find a chapel there. You're not going to find a warehouse either. So on the other Spirit classes, they've been replacing the chapel with the warehouse. What's there on the Carnival Luminosa
is the Dream Studio.
So where your pictures are. Moving forward, you've got your pictures as well.
Yep, the photo gallery.
On Costa, it's the photo gallery. Carnival, it's the Pixels gallery.
Right.
So same purpose, just the rebranding or the branding name.
So we've seen a couple of different Costa deck plans. One of the deck plans listed this next space as the Library Internet Point and Regolo Conference Center adjacent to each other. We've also seen it listed as the Library Internet Center and Gift Shop, which are adjacent to each other, both of which would be on the port side.
So what we don't know is, I'm guessing the Gift Shop replaced the Conference Center. If I had to guess which one is older, which deck plan was newer, I'm guessing it was the Conference Center originally was not a popular space, and then Costa replaced it with a Gift Shop. That's my guess. Revenue, margin. So on Carnival, it's the library with Circle C adjacent. So now you've got kids clubs forward, kids clubs mid, and kids clubs aft on this ship.
Yeah, but they're high, low, high.
Strange.
It's all over.
Continuing forward on the ship, you've got on Costa, Galleria Shops. On Carnival, the Galleria Shops.
Very familiar space from a Spirit class design standpoint.
Oh, the yellow brick road, that kind of space.
Yep.
Awesome. So walking out from the Galleria Shops, you immediately are greeted by the
Sirius Cafe or Cafeteria.
And then on Carnival, you're going to have
Java Blue.
So we love our Java Blue on the, and that's on starboard. On port side, you've got on Costa, you've got the piano bar, which was the Antares piano bar. On Carnival,
you got the Limelight Lounge.
Then the final thing on deck 3 forward is...
So Costa had the Phoenix Theater.
And Carnival, interestingly enough, just renames it the Luminosa Theater.
Original.
So moving back to deck 2 aft.
Yep, we've got the first floor of the main dining room.
On both ships.
Yep.
What's interesting on the Costa ship is they had the Samsara restaurant, which was an upcharge restaurant where the, quote, Pacific Ocean and the Mediterranean meet. You can savor Pacific fusion cuisine in a menu full of taste and innovation. What's going to be after on Carnival is the Archipelago restaurant. What is yet to be seen is whether or not this will be the same Michelin star venue Costa rolled out. So they have an Archipelago restaurant on Costa that is an upcharge restaurant, just like the Samsara was, and it's Michelin star. It's got all of this unique flair.
Wow.
What I don't know is if they've just taken the name for Carnival or if they're actually going to implement that.
Right, because that space is usually just a restaurant annex space on the Spirit class of ships.
Your spot on most of this,
that's true.
Ships, right? Yep.
Right. So walking out of the lower level of the main dining room and out of the disco, you have the Libra Bar, which was a bar and a lounge space.
And on Carnival, they've replaced it with Piano Bar 88, which is interesting. They've moved it on Costa. It was forward on the ship in a really big space, and they've moved it back to this kind of lounge, which is almost a walk-through, pass-through hallway. So how Carnival is going to wall that off or divide it out for adults only, it's going to be interesting. It remains to be seen. But moving forward then from the piano bar, or moving forward from that space.
Yeah, you come into the lower level of the main atrium.
So on Costa, you've got customer service, what's called customer service, tour office, Supernova Bar, and the Supernova Atrium.
Right. And with Carnival, you have guest services, Carnival Adventures, the bar, and the Supernova Atrium.
So on the port side, kind of leaving the atrium, you have on Costa just a blank space and then the arcade.
Right.
On Carnival, in that blank space,
they added the art gallery,
which
exciting.
Is awesome. And then where the arcade is, it's still an arcade.
It's just the warehouse.
The warehouse. Yeah. Then finally, moving forward from that,
we hit the casino.
On Costa, you've got the Vega Casino and Vega Bar.
On Carnival, you have the Luminosa Casino and the Casino Bar.
So on the port side of the Costa deck plan of the casino, as you move forward in the casino, there's a Regal cigar lounge.
Yeah, interesting.
Whereas on Carnival, super interesting, they've ripped out the cigar lounge and they've put in a bonsai sushi. But they didn't put the Bonsai Sushi Express where the cigar bar was. They put it on the opposite wall. Maybe the flooring and walls still smelled too much like cigars to put a restaurant. I don't know what happened, but the space is still utilized. They just flip-flopped the walkway through the cigar lounge.
My guess is that they probably put in some seating there for you to be able to take your Bonsai Sushi Express food and be able to enjoy it without having to walk too far.
Yes. But why wouldn't they have just put the seating where the space? Why wouldn't
there
they
must
put
have been
Bonsai
a flow
Sushi?
issue.
There was something weird about that where Bonsai Sushi literally flip-flopped. So they took the venue out, took the cigar bar out, put in a Bonsai Sushi Express, but they put it on the opposite wall. Interesting. I think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
So walking out of the casino on the Costa ship, you had the Electra Grand, which was a bar, a dance floor, and a stage. Carnival.
Yep, we got the Ocean Plaza.
Which we
know trivia is going to be there. They'll probably still have the stage and the dance floor.
Yep, absolutely. On the Costa version of the ship, they also had the card room. Now it's just additional
open.
space for Ocean Plaza.
Yeah, they just added into the Ocean Plaza space.
Yep, absolutely.
So then a cool thing that you had forward of that before you got to the main theater was the Miser
Cinema
4D.
Yeah, so Carnival ripped that out altogether, and it's just a blank space.
So then something that we noticed when we were looking through these deck plans, now Costa doesn't really do a great job at identifying the lavatories across the entire ship, but Carnival does. And we noticed something really unique about the outside of the theater on deck 2. There are actually washrooms on both sides of the theater before you enter it.
Well, there are on other Carnival ships. There are
right,
washrooms.
But they're usually alternating genders.
Women, men, uni.
Right. On this one, they did men's and ladies on both sides, and the unisex is on just the one side. But that was a really interesting touch that we had noticed on this deck plan.
I really like it, because when you come out of the theater, the number one thing that you see people do is...
Where's the restroom?
Which way?
Yep.
So then the last part of deck 2... forward is the Phoenix Theater on the Costa ship.
Luminosa Theater on Carnival.
Yep. And then you jump down to deck 1 aft, which on the Spirit class we're used to seeing, that's where the first floor of the nightclub would be.
Right.
In this case, it's just blank space. It's literally a huge amount of blank space before you get to the rooms on the Costa ship and on the Carnival version of the Luminosa. None of the rooms change down there, but I do wonder if at some point they will cram in some additional rooms down there on deck 1.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely, they'd be night owl rooms.
They would be. It's nice right now because there's no rooms that are going to be disturbed by the dance club. But also, I think the galley space is a little bit larger. Maybe they are keeping the Michelin star restaurant.
The Archipelago?
The Archipelago.
Yes, that one. That's what he said.
So the last thing forward on deck 1 is the theater. Nothing has changed. It's still the same theater. Again, just the naming went from Phoenix Theater to the Luminosa Theater.
So we have scrubbed the internet. We found a lot of deck plans and did a lot of research to be able to share this definitive video with you.
Yeah, so if you are going to be sailing on the Luminosa coming up here in November or through the summer of Australia, send us pictures. Go to our website, get our contact info. It's going to be super easy for you to find.
We would love to do another follow-up video.
Yeah.
We're still working on getting our sailing to Alaska booked next year. That's my goal. But I know, like you said, there are a lot of viewers out there that are curious what this ship is going to look like with all of the changes.
The Carnival change. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
We appreciate it. If you haven't done it already, remember to like.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Ring that notification bell.
Oh, okay. And ring that notification bell. Until next time.
We'll see ya.